in these final days.
Yeah, Carla, I think Monday morning quarterback in here now. I mean, it isn't I don't think a helpful exercise, but as we said from.
It is a very sad situation with what is going on in Afghanistan. But the American troop has been there for 20 years. If this was a battle that was possible to have been won, it would have been. This is not just a situation where you have a battle and people fight and go in. This is trying to rebuild a country with a totally different culture and mentality. The Taliban never left. They have always occupied. And remember, the Taliban was the main reason that the American troop went in the first place. But the government before Biden and before Obama and before, this thing just goes on and on and on. The question truly is, how do you teach people to fight? You cannot just kill. They had restrictive situations. There were places they couldn't go. There were things they couldn't touch. And because there were such restrictions, there were shadows that they could not put lights upon. What breaks my heart is hearing this question over and over again out of sentiment and emotions. Was it the failure of the intelligence that the evacuation is been like this? Listen. Americans, a lot of them, sit in the comfort of their homes and they think it is that easy to go out and change other people's lives. The whole world wants deliverance. I'm saying the whole world because I'm a Nigerian. And even Nigerians are looking forward to America coming in to save them from their bad governance. I can only speak from the standpoint of being a Nigerian and knowing what happened and the decadence in my country. Now, Afghanistan is no different from Nigeria because you're dealing with religion, you're dealing with human rights, you're dealing with things. It's not just go in and destroy and get out. It's go in, know what to destroy, rebuild, strengthen people. There is no way America was going to win this war. No way. And another thing is there is no way, no system, the evacuation could have been planned better. I promise you, you can put 2 million wise men on the table. They will not be ready for the temperament and the emotions that the Afghans will show. The only thing I can think in my head is, oh my God, knowing the Taliban are deadly and no mercy, they take the kill. They take the kill. So you're going to see those who already know they are marked, just desperate to get out. Is it possible to get everyone out that should? I don't think so. I don't think so. Unless the Americans are trying to start another war and stepping on toes. But this is an independent country we're talking about. And if the people in the nation could allow those laws to be, there was no other power to have overridden the Taliban. And knowing Pakistan was providing access for them to run and come back in through, there was no way Americans were going to win this. The territory is different, the laws are different, the religions are different, even the mentation of the people are different. Everything about Afghanistan war was a mistake in the first place that was kept on and pulled over and kept on and layered over for 20 years. American troops have families too. They have children. And I bet a lot of homes and lives have been wrecked and broken just by leaving to go to Afghanistan. There were people that served 3 tours, 4 tours. I cannot tell you how many veterans are in the system now with PTSD just from having stayed in Afghanistan. When a country cannot rule its own, it is wrong for anybody out of sentiments and emotions to put it on people that were there in the first place to help, to try to rescue. This administration, I think, from my own sense, have done what they needed to do. And there will be people climbing on top of the tree, climbing on top of the plane, holding on to soldiers' legs because they know that the Taliban will kill them. It is not easy to know you're going to die. But America has to be able to tend to its own. People need to run their independent individual countries responsibly. You cannot teach people to be kind and good to each other. If there were no people there to have a reason, I mean, look at it, took only 5 hours. That is so sad for the Taliban to have taken over. It showed that there were people supporting them. Evil does not thrive if it does not have enough support. So it looked to me now like the only people that were ready for change in the country was the people that were helping the Americans. And how many of that could be? You can count them on your fingers. It's unfortunate that women and children are also involved and casualties. But Afghan is an independent country. America is an independent country. They can get out, and unfortunately, the world will have to watch the Taliban murder. There is no war declared in my country, Nigeria. The Fulanis are killing. They kill, they maim, they chop off heads right on the screen. I couldn't believe when President Buhari's administration started granting amnesty to kidnappers of the Chibok girls who are now coming out, married to them, having children for them. These kids were kidnapped when they were 13, 14, 15, 16. 10 years later, their kidnappers are coming out and saying, we have repented. And the government is giving succor to those people. So tell me, if a war develops in Nigeria tomorrow and I see them killing, and this government sees them killing and maiming each other, you will blame the American government for not coming in, or for coming in and not rescuing everybody. This is not the America you used to know. This is the America after Donald Trump. I live here too. I know the difference. The troubles at home is enough for the American government to face. I see mad people, mad, not just crazy, needy, homeless. I see mad people walk the streets every day. And I begin to wonder, where is the broken dreams? What happened to my dreams? What broke my dreams about the country that could give and give and give? No, this country is depleted. This country needs to restore itself. This country is divided. You have the Republicans and the Democrats at each other's throat. The Republicans are living en masse. They are not relating to anybody. They are not doing anything to help the situation. All they're doing is voter restriction, voter suppression. These things have changed. The whole world have changed. And all these reporters and all these overfed Americans that have never shaken their asses a day. And even I see that in some of the people that have fought in Afghanistan, the sentiment, the emotion. Look, there can never be enough planning on how people that are marked for death can react. Never will be a practice for that. Never will be intelligence for that, because we're all human beings and we will always show emotions. So you will still see people trying to run under the tires of the plane as they take off, holding on to the plane. Now, do we blame Americans for the wickedness of the Afghanistans? How do you teach the Talibans to be kind? How do you teach them? That was the setup on ground. Okay? It is a country that can purge its own evil. Another country cannot come and take over their right and begin to purge the evil for them. I am just sick and tired of people trying to say, why, how? You cannot take anybody, everybody out of Afghanistan. And this is so sad because I know that for years people will be hurting. But this is where the world is. We have a wicked world that is divided against itself. Why can't people be kind? Why can't people just listen and say, okay, maybe I shouldn't have supported the Americans, but I did. Why do they have to get killed, hunted down like dogs? How do you prepare for that? There are places that the United Government representatives cannot get to. There are places, and there always have been places that the American soldiers were not allowed to go to. This is a country that speaks a totally different language. A totally different language. They needed somebody to help them translate. There was no preparing for this. Some of the soldiers' children are grown. Some of them are grown, ready for marriage, been to universities. There was no father, no mother on the ground because they were somewhere else fighting another country's war. And that is what soldiers do. But how do you depart from Afghanistan? I think, in all honesty, no intelligence, no amount of love or care could prepare anybody for the emotions that we were still bound to see. I'm prepared in my heart. I guess my heart is tough. It's split into two. I am so happy and elated at the Afghans that got away. I am. I am. That is, I celebrate their lives, their new lives. I just pray down the road that none of them decides to, take a strike or do anything crazy here from the bitterness they have experienced, because these people are traumatized individuals, okay? And my heart breaks for those that are left behind. That is the tone of war. There will always be casualties. Even in Nigeria, if anything happens tomorrow, people will still die. There will be blood stains on the streets. There can be no true freedom without collateral damages. People are bound to die. You can't have a perfect exit from a war-torn country. So please, when they sit down in their chairs, the reporters to ask questions as if they're asking about what happened to Bingo. No, this is real. You can never control the emotions of people. You can't. And Afghans, like Nigerians, are very expressive. They're very emotional people. That's the same passion with which they kill, that they cry. So I think it's high time the American citizens know that the rest of the world is different from here. The closest you can have is maybe Switzerland, England, and Canada. You're fine countries. The rest of the world is messy. It's crazy. It's crazy. People are killing, leaders are killing, they're killing each other every day because there's no rule of law. And that is why I'm hoping that they pass the voters' rights laws so that this country does not break down and become like Afghanistan. You're talking Banana Republic. That will be a joke. In fact, it will be a blessing if the breakdown of American system just ends up to be Banana Republic. I hear everybody say that. No, it will become Nigeria. To be a Nigeria and survive and thrive is torture in itself. Nigeria is divided into two. The one that you see on Instagram and the one you pray you never even see on TV. The whole world is imploding upon itself. It is high time we start to exercise kindness, patience with each other. But every country in the world right now needs to remember Saigon. You can't save a country that is not willing to save itself. Afghan had more evil and still has more evil in it than good. If not, the Taliban shouldn't have overridden that easily. You prepare people for 20 years and all that effort went to bits in 5 hours. In just 2 days, they were in the presidential villa and the Americans had not left yet. So I like the rule. As long as they don't shoot at people, then they don't get shot and there'll be no war. And these are like my people. They have children like pigs. They have 20 children to one man, 5 wives. How do you help people like that, whose culture and religion have really messed them up? Where do you start from? Their mentation is different. Fighting is not just carrying the pistol. It's not carrying an AK-47. Fighting is from the inside. We see people say motivational speaker, motivational speaker. But I wish you could go back and look at look at that. You will always have this. They are willing to be run over by the plane. Does this make sense? It doesn't make sense. This you cannot blame Americans for. You are telling me they need to evacuate the whole country. They need to take Afghan and turn it upside down and empty it onto the American shore. When people that are even here are not living comfortably. You guess those of us that have made it here, we're still paying the price. So every day we're working hard. 60, 78, 92 hours. And people are still getting killed. People are getting frustrated. Every day. Look, there is no win to this situation. There is no way that they could have prevented that. When people decide to be emotional, the best thing to do is just stay out of the way. That's all you're going to do. So you want to tell me that all these people running and holding the plane will come to America and work as hard as they can, or they will begin to throw bombs and kill and kidnap? Because we don't know what these people can do. So those people that have been vetted and on the plane can come, but they can't take the whole of Afghanistan. They cannot. It's not possible. If there's a war in Nigeria, they can't take the whole of Nigeria. It is time that the Nigerian masses wake up. Use this as a lesson. You cannot spoil your country, deplete the finances, steal from each other, kill and kidnap, and harbor terrorists, and tell the world to come save you. America is not a giant. They can be superpower. Now they're superpower in their pockets because they have their own problems too. There's nothing super about their power unless you have war. As in, you go in, you kill, you get out. But for them to go in, to kill, to clean, to establish, to build, that is all in their dreams. You can't do that with any country that is not ready to do it by themselves, for themselves. When you motivate people, they're already at a place where they're desperate and looking for answers. So you come in and you say something that resonates with their souls, and then there's a combustion, there's a takeoff. Okay? Now I'm coming with power, and I'm just looking for a socket to plug it in. That is motivation for you. If there's no socket, or that socket doesn't fit, all the power that I'm carrying will not have a place to discharge, to connect, to ignite. You cannot teach people how to fight. People have to fight. And it's not fighting and killing each other. Fight as in we need to be honest. We don't need to be corrupt. We need to treat each other like human beings. We need to let people live their lives. We cannot control how people live their lives. Okay, I don't want to go to school. That doesn't mean that no Western education should be allowed. I'm seeing Nigeria's future here. Lord have mercy. And it's not a curse. If we don't start to accompany our prayers with actions of kindness towards each other, with the displacement of corruption and replacement with integrity and dignity, okay? It is a matter of somebody chasing death and somebody who is being chased by death. Somebody's going to have to run faster. So please, stop asking those foolish questions of, is there no way they could have done? Did you see that crowd around the plane? How do you control emotions like that? How? Except you build a fence around the airport and keep them out. And you still see them trying to climb over the fence and run. These people know they are marked for death. They know they are marked for death. So you cannot control their emotions. And it is so sad that it's happening in the 21st century. But please, anybody with a better plan to leave the Americans there and not get out, it's either you leave them there and not get out, or you get out and see this. There's no shortcut. The world is crazy. Only God can settle us. And when I say that, it can't settle the world, but it can settle the portion that concerns his own. And that is where this whole thing has come down to. The whole world needs to take a breath and stop trying to interfere in other people's life or ruin other people's lives. You cannot control the way people live. Look, North Korea is doing it. Wake kids people up by 5, control what they eat, where they go, how they are. China is doing the same thing. And some of the world leaders, even Donald Trump, loved that power. That is how he was setting up his dogs, trying to get people to do that, to control other people's lives. Buhari doesn't hear. He only hears what he wants to hear. The Fulanis have more rights than our children that have gone to the universities. Their own children that only have standard 6 are holding high positions. How many southern Nigerian, or, Igbo, Eastern Nigerians do you see in positions of power? None. How long ago has an Igbo man been president? We didn't have a problem with that as Yoruba people. It was the Yoruba and Hausa for a long time. Instead of the Yoruba leaders to stand their grounds and say, no, the Igbos are our brothers. We can run these things fairly and equally. No, it was Yoruba, Hausa, then until the Fulanis took complete charge. Now we cry. The Yorubas cry because we don't have the thirsty power. We just realized that most of the leaders of the Yorubas that have been there are filled with corruption and have sold us for 2 dimes. If not for the courage of our Igbo brothers, we will all have been enslaved. And I pray to God that we don't get there, but we're not out of the woods yet. This is what happens when people become unkind to each other, when they thirst for power too much, when corruption takes over, when bribery is the reign of the day. You cannot teach people how to fight a war. No, something has to be on fire inside their stomach. They have to see the injustice and stand up and fight. There is no shortcut, no better way. There could never have been a win in Afghanistan. There just were not enough good people on ground that were Afghanistans that could face the Taliban. They didn't want to die. They want the American soldiers to go fight their wars and die for them. They didn't want to spill their blood on their own country. Look at them. Everyone holding on to that plane is a potential weapon. Look at how many people there, and they can't face their Afghanistans. They have the weapon. America is willing to support them. Instead, they run and they hold the tires of a plane. Can you imagine? Since 2005, there have been 70,000 Afghans. I wish they would give that kind of cover to my people in Nigeria. 70,000 Afghans here, brought here to the US. 2,000 just joined them. By the time they finish taking these people, I hope there's still room for immigration for the rest of the world. Okay? It was like that with the Mexicans too, coming across the border. By the time they take all of them, because they're next door, they just keep taking outside of the ones that they smuggle in cabs. 60% of Mexicans in jail is because they were trying to smuggle somebody in. Life is a process. I read somewhere, your emergency is not my emergency. That's what I read in one of the pharmacies at work. Right there. It means that we know your patient will die if they don't get this medication. But you as a nurse will be responsible for their death when we find out that it is due to your negligence. And how do I not become negligent? When I get to work and I get report, I go to my IV pumps and look at, Liverfed, which is a vasopressor to help with the blood pressure, will be running out in 2 hours. Now, I start calling pharmacy an hour to the time. I beg them how I get that medication ready to go on the pump automatically is my responsibility, not my charge nurses, not the owner of the hospitals, not my directors, not the pharmacist's problem. I can only beg because I have assessed and targeted for when the next bag of life-saving medication is due. Now, for a pharmacy to write, your emergency is not my emergency. If it were in a Nigerian situation, just these people have no feeling for human life. Oh, how can somebody be this callous? He says my emergency is not her emergency. Do you know that this patient will die if I don't get the medication? So, look, we have to learn that life is a process. There was a time during COVID when they couldn't keep up with the fentanyl and Versed for people on the vent because they had to stop. Okay? They had to stop and just concentrated on making IVs for the babies. It is one pharmacy. At night, you have just one pharmacy and maybe two techs, and the other one lives at midnight. One pharmacy, one tech, making IV for the whole hospital. So the nurse has to know to tell them on time to get these life-saving medications ready. We cannot be lying to each other. Hi, Lady D. Bawoni, Diola, Miss Olaniyan, how you doing? But that is the truth. We have to stop trying to blame people for what becomes, what nature brings, or negligence and irresponsibility of the people that are involved bring. Okay? I don't care if America puts down 50 planes. I don't care if they were able to get... You want to tell me that all those people running and holding on to the plane were interpreters for America? No! So the only way America could have kept that from happening as it did with the plane was to put a fence. Just put a fence around the airport to keep the people out. And then it would still have been this same us looking that would have called them heartless, inhumane. And some of the people they could have taken will still have gotten lost in the track. Every country needs to take responsibility for its own. So if you're a citizen of any country right now, as you're watching me and I'm speaking, we all have individual responsibilities to learning to be kind to each other and trying to maintain the laws and processes. Because when a country breaks down, remember Saigon, I say again, nobody can teach you to fight. And fighting is dirty. It's war. It's bloody. I'm sorry, but the Taliban are part of that the Muslim sect that cut people's head. Okay? That's it. They Allahu Akbar, and they're killing. Allahu Akbar, and they're shooting. Allahu Akbar, and they're maiming. If they can do that to themselves, if a father can kill his own daughter for marrying a foreigner, now these are the kind of people that you're dealing with. If a brother can kill his own mother for wanting to leave the father, these people have stringent laws. Okay? They think they're doing it for God. And when a man thinks he has been sent by God, how do you use love or physical or anything to change his mind? These people are not just saying, I'm hungry, feed me. They say they want jihad. How do you stop people that think God sent them to kill to stop killing? Even the ones that have been rescued, we're not sure of what they're going to come up with. We see, go and check the Ethiopians that were brought in, based in Minnesota, all over the world. Look at how many. They're the ones shooting, planting bombs. As they want to hold this country responsible for all the sins of the world. Come on now, please. Like Biden, I say in ending, there was never a good time to withdraw from Afghanistan. We just got to do what we got to do. I just got sick and tired of all the emotional gibberish. Most of these questions are based in emotional gibberish. How do you control other people's feelings? You can't do that and not be going against something, some human rights law or something. People will be who they are. For 20 years, America was in Afghanistan. 20 years and counting. It is time to come home. I'm sorry, but you cannot teach a man to fight. Fight for your life right now as we speak, everywhere you are, under the sound of my voice. Learn to be kind to people, because a little leaven leavens the whole bunch. Your unkindness can trigger off people. Your meanness can trigger off people. When you see injustice, call it out. Look at them. Look at them. I stand by my decision to withdraw from Afghan. I stand by his decision too. Please, let's be kind to each other. Because when we break that plate, nobody can help us glue it together. Every country needs to be responsible for its own. And if you don't like something, I don't care if there's a war, people will die, but we have to fight injustice. We cannot negotiate with injustice and wickedness. This is a call for Nigerians to beware. America cannot save you when you have killed your own selves, buried your own dignities, abused your own children, and left the door open for evil. You are just postponing that day of reckoning. You need to be aware. Nothing good comes without a fight. Fight. Fight for freedom. Fight injustice. Stand against injustice. What they're doing, what Buhari's administration is doing with this Boko Haram people is appalling. And everybody just, when is the next Ashevi? When is the next party now? Let's go. Oh, my sister, that's not their own problem. Oh. When it will stop being just their problem and it will be right knocking on your doors. It's coming. You got to fight. Fight evil in your midst. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray that this that we're seeing will not become our own burden in our lives, but will just be that we pray for them. Because I already have so much bad picture in my head, from all these things that is going on that I'm seeing. I just can't, I'm sorry. I'm just going to wrap it in a little box and put it at the feet of Jesus. If they want donation, I will give them. I will go Afghan and go save them. No. But when I say an Afghan, I'll be kind. Whenever I meet anybody, just like anybody that I meet, I'll be kind, be respectful, and help where I can. It is well with you. Goodbye. Elizabeth Adeola should be saying, emotions are not actions. Nobody can control anybody's emotions. There will always be panic at the face of death. And you cannot teach a man to fight. You can only hold his hand for so long. Even in battle, everybody will have to save themselves. It is so sad what the world has become. It is so sad. And my heart goes out to the Afghans today. But we cannot blame Biden. We cannot blame Biden. In the first place, they shouldn't have gone in for the war. And when they went in, they should have been out sooner. This same scene you see, scenario where they're holding the plane, is what every government have dreaded. There is no better way to leave Afghan than as Biden is doing. May God help us all. Goodbye. Elizabeth Adeola is saying, be kind to people. Be kind to one another. Forgive. Forgive. Goodbye.